Mr. Mayor. I'm very honored that you gave me this proclamation to read because I visited with the gentleman for a few minutes not knowing that he was going to come up. But I want to ask Howard Spreeman to come up, and Rosie, would you come up too, please? Examples of true heroes, yes. Thank you.
Well,
I had no idea I was going to do this. Hi, Rosie. I don't know if you know this, Mr. Mayor, and people know that there are 17 license plates in the state of Nevada that have on them Pearl Harbor survivors. And these two people here have 2 of those licenses. Howard and Rosie, you have 2 licenses on your cars. So it is my honor to be here with these people, and thank you very much for letting me do this. Whereas 70 years ago, on December 7th, 1941, U.S. service members and civilians awoke on a quiet Sunday morning to a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor by Japanese forces. And whereas more than 3,500 Americans were killed or wounded on the day that President Franklin D. Roosevelt so memorably said would live in infamy. And whereas the images of burning battleships and the grief of lives lost have been forever seared in the American memory, and whereas those who defended Hawaii that fateful morning, employing whatever weapons and tools were available, stand as examples of selfless heroism. And whereas all U.S. service members and veterans who have served before and since the attack on Pearl Harbor deserve praise from a grateful nation. Whereas, as a Pearl Harbor survivor and veteran of the U.S. Navy, Howard Spreeman and Rosie represent not only those heroes who defended the United States in their first days of World War II, but represent all U.S. veterans in their bravery and willingness to sacrifice. Now, therefore, on behalf of Robert A. Cashel, Sr., Mayor of the City of Reno, we do hereby proclaim Wednesday, December 7, 2011, as a day to honor Pearl Harbor survivor Howard Spreeman and Rosie, and all veterans of the U.S. Armed Forces in recognition of their courageous contributions to the American saga. As we remember the tragic events of December 7, 1941, and the cataclysm that followed, let us all hope for and support our uniformed men and women as we seek a peaceful future for humankind. Mr. Mayor, thank you for the honor to present this, and now I'd like to present Mr. Howard Spreeman.
I would, instead of going into the day itself, I would like to tell everyone that in the first place, not only December 7th, but the ensuing years since that time, I never expected to be here this time. And I think that the knowledge that I've gained in the 90 years that I've been around, I have discovered the fountain of youth. And that is, last March, I turned 90, and next year, in March, I'll make it 89, and that way I've got 90 more years. Thank you very much, Mayor. You bet.
we'll come around. Let's walk around there. We'll come down to you. Stay there.
You know, Mr. Mayor, another story that I'm sure Howard has a lot of. Matter of fact, he has written a book that's been published about his life and Pearl Harbor. And he told me the story about 65 years ago. He had come back to San Diego after Pearl Harbor, and he knew Rosie was a wave, and she was in San Diego, but he always wanted to meet her, and it took him 65 years to finally catch up to her in Fernley, Nevada. So now that's why they're together.
I bet you do.